Hello and welcome to the Shot at an Angle show. That was an interesting start to the show, William. As always the way. I laugh a lot in this show for some reason. I laugh at myself mostly. This is the Shot at an Angle show. I will get on the screen in a second. I'll do it now actually. This is the Shot at an Angle show. Live here on Facebook every week, 7 p.m. I wasn't live last week. I was away last week. I went away for a whole weekend, which was absolutely fantastic. We went. It was just nice to be away. We went to the northeast of England, but it's usually live here every week on the Shot at an Angle page here on Facebook, 7 p.m. Wednesday. Good to see you. Good to see if you're a new viewer. Good to see if you're somebody who has watched every single show. Have you watched every single show? Because it's been over a year now that I've been doing this. This is a very creative show. It's eclectic quite often. It's based around creativity and photography. I'm sure you might be aware of this if you watch this every week, but I will always say this. This is exactly what it is. It's just talking about photography specifically, but about creativity as a wider thing. Now today we're going to be talking specifically about historical photography. Now for some reason I picked up a pencil. I like to make points, so I might be waving this pencil around like Harry Potter for some reason. But just the most... See, I told you it was going to... We've already got eclecticness already in the first few seconds of me talking. It's an understanding place as well. I'm really fascinated in why people photograph and what they photograph. Why do you photograph what you photograph? Not to say that, oh, you shouldn't be. I'm just really fascinated in what you're photographing. Often when I'm walking around with my own camera and I see what other people are capturing, what I see somebody taking a photograph, I'm really fascinated in why they're doing it. There was a lady who was we were in the town of Whitby, which is on the northeast coast on the Yorkshire coastline. And she was taking some photographs, and I really wish I'd gone back to ask her what she was photographing, because I couldn't, from how she was stood, I couldn't for the life of me see what she was photographing. But anyway, that is the show in a nutshell. Just this I've got this interest about photography, and I'm sharing it with you, and I'm sharing some ideas with you. So today's topic, which is quite apt. But before I go on, I've made myself a new screen. I know it's high tech. This is a very high tech show, you'll notice. So yeah, right now, like the show, share the show, comment. My goal is to get to 10,000 followers. That's my goal. So share this video right now, because that will really help me expand my audience as much as possible to 10,000 followers. That's my biggest aim. And always feel free to comment as you go through this, heckle me, whatever you want to do. Today's topic then this is quite a personal topic for me. It's something I've always been really fascinated with, and especially as I've got older as well, in particular. The whole idea of capturing now for later. So we're talking about historic photography here. Now I'm sure you would have seen photography from maybe 100 years ago, 60 years ago. It really helps build a story about a location, a place, especially if it's a place that you grew up in, especially if it's a place you know very well. Seeing these photographs really show you what this place was like, what people were wearing, what they were doing, what the shops were like, how people got around, how people moved around. It really shows the social history of the place. I'm just going to go through a few photographs from my own archive, my own photography archive, with that specific idea in mind. Now here in Oxford we have the Westgate shopping centre. Now love it or hate it, locals don't like it, some people don't like it, some people do like it as well. It's been refurbished into a completely different space than it was previously. Now I knew that was going to be happening, so what I did was I've not got an extensive range of photographs, but I took photographs with the idea that I knew that it was going to be changed. It was going to change, because the world around us is always changing. That's the real topic of today's show. Is the world around us is always changing. So capture that, capture that essence, capture that change. Never underestimate. I think we often can underestimate the power of our own photography. Never underestimate the power of your photography, because it will. Even the most smallest changes can make, on the surface, can make big impacts in the world. And people. It helps document, give a social history, a social documentary of what's happening in your area or the place that you live. How shops can change. The road that's right close to where I live just off of it, the Cowley Road here in Oxford, is well known for its sort of very vibrant, but also its high turnover in shops. And shops are always changing. They can often change from one thing to something completely different. So there's one shop that is now Costa Coffee, a coffee shop, and then previously it was I think it was the headquarters for a charity, and prior to that it was a bank. So things can change quite often, quite regularly, and that's what it really. This is what this sort of photography really does, and it's more a way of thinking of it. I often encourage. Thank you, Brain. Thanks for the word. Encourage people to make books and prints. Print prints and share your view of the world. And this is a great way of doing that. Thinking about how something is now and how something will be in the future. You don't even have to think about what it's going to be in the future. Just take photographs of what's happening now, and just look back at them in maybe 5 and 10 years' time. Share them. Make books, because books will last forever. And I'll just quickly say again, if you've just jumped on, this is the Shot at an Angle show. My name's William Manklow. I'm here every week, Wednesday, 7 p.m, here on the Shot at an Angle channel. I'm looking to expand that also into YouTube as well. I want to go live on YouTube at the same time, so that's something to look out for in the future. This show has evolved many times, and I'm sure it will evolve again. In fact, I was looking at a new venue to do this in. I do this directly from home, as you can probably tell with my background. I've got my guitar there and my wife's work computer there. This is actually our living room. I've got a place that I've actually checked out, and it's going to be a new place to go to. I've also set a goal today. I want to get on my Buy Me a Coffee. I want to get to £100. When I get to that £100 threshold, because I want to make this show completely self-sufficient, £100 will help me buy a higher quality camera. So you get to see me in HD. That's a payoff, isn't it, right? You get to see all the blemishes of my face. Yes, right. This is quality material. Always go for quality, William. But yes, back onto topic. Yeah, so capture now for later. This is what I'm talking about today. Capture now for later. The world around us is always changing, in every way you can imaginable. Sometimes that change is quite stark. Sometimes that change is very slow. I go to the same location in Oxford for railway photography. It hasn't seemed to have changed that much, but there's little incremental changes. And when I look at my photographs and go back, there are changes there. So I'm just going to go through a few shots that I've taken from the past. And this is the Oxford's Westgate Centre here in Oxford. Has had a major refurbishment. It was muted right back at the start of this century. And it took until I think 2014 to actually even get moving, and it wasn't reopened until October 2017. So it's only been open for just under 4 years. So when I knew about this, I started taking photographs around the area. And for those of you who know Oxford, they will remember the Westgate Centre for being, well, let's just say a little bit shabby, a little bit of its time. I believe it was the 60s or 70s this was built. 60s or 70s this was built, and you can really see that. These photographs, as I just go through them, are, I won't go into too huge detail of what they were, where they are, and where they are in the place. But I can vividly remember the car park. I mean, there's a funny story about me falling asleep drunk in the car park once. But that's for another day, right? And what would happen? What they'd done is they'd actually taken some of the original features of the old Westgate Centre and actually started to refurbish it. These are work in progress shots of that place. I don't actually have any photographs to share with you today of what it looks like now, but I just wanted to capture those moments of what it looked like whilst it was being built. And even this photograph is now relatively historic for two reasons. One is that it's this side here. Obviously, this is the frontage when it was getting towards nearing completion. I actually really like the frontage of the Westgate Centre. It's sort of quite nice. I like what they've done to it. It kind of adds to that area. But also the cooperative bank on the left hand side here is no longer there. In fact, there's no co-op bank at all in Oxford now. So that was taken when that co-op bank was still open. It closed in November last year. So already there's some historic reference to this photograph to say that was when the co-op bank was open. In fact, you can see the door open there. So yeah, I just wanted to share you these photographs. So you take these photographs, you take photographs with the idea, and just remember that you're documenting now for the future. It can be quite an interesting way to think about your photography. Not just as photography, of course, is an art form, but it's also an amazing documentary tool. And yeah, I just wanted to share these three examples with you. Several years ago, now I'm a bit of a railway buff as well. I love to take. Get back to me on the screen. I love to take railway photography. And the last example I'm going to show you, and this just shows you the power of photography. Now, this is a screen grab from a Facebook post that I did several years ago, so bear that in mind. These are not the highest quality images, but what I have here is just shows you the side-by-side images. There is a photographer called Henry Taunt, Taunt. I'll try to link it in. I'll actually put it in the comments after the show, so you can see some more about his work. And he was a photographer based in Oxford at the turn of the 20th century. So into the 20th century, he was a professional portrait photographer and also did a lot of photography around Oxford in the centre. And he did quite a bit around here. In fact, his house, the house he rented for his studio, Riviera House, is actually still there. It's used as part of Brooks University's student campus, just off the Cowley Road here. It's got a blue plaque there. And so he took a lot of photographs of the area that I actually live in, which is really fascinating to go back and see what it looked like then and what it looks like now and compare those two. And that's what we've got in front of us here. Henry Taunt took that top photograph in 1916, and the one below it was taken by myself. No, I don't actually remember when I took this. I'm going to say 2016, 2017. So it's almost 100 years between the two of those photographs. And it shows you the change in how much it's changed, the top photograph compared to the bottom photograph. Very, very, very different images. You can quite clearly see that there's similarities in the track layout. I mean, you probably can't see too well at the top because it's quite a grainy image. And there's a tower on the right hand side here. That's the tower of the St Barnabas Church in Jericho. And it is just about visible in the photograph that I took there. So they're kind of reference points. So it shows you just how much these places change, and shows you how much you can see. This type of photography or this type of idea of photography can really be impactful. But yes, that's today. I would say capture now for today. Capture now for today. Go out and think about, look around you, and think about what could possibly change in the next 10 years, or just photograph your local area, because it may not be the most grandest place in the world. It might not be the most talked about place. It maybe doesn't have any massive historical, large world scale historical importance. But I think everywhere has some intrinsic value, especially when you get to see this change, and photographing something will really demonstrate that change and demonstrate what change has happened in your local area, and really it can also help future generations to maybe make decisions about, okay, this is what's happened in the past, maybe we can go back to that, maybe there's more green space in the past than there was now, and that could definitely help that. I'm a big proponent of that. But as I said earlier, this show is definitely, I want this show to be self-sustainable, and everything that I actually do. Oh, look at that! Oh my goodness me, he hasn't done it. He hasn't done what he's supposed to have done there. Why is that not working? I thought I checked that. Yeah, so you can actually see at the bottom of the screen here. You can actually support this show financially by going to buymeacoffee.com/my name, William Manklow, and you can financially support the show today. I've set a goal of £100. Once I hit that £100 goal, I'm going to buy myself a new high definition camera. The one I'm using is actually built in the laptop. I want a better quality, so I just want to increase the quality of the show, and I want to increase the quality of the video. So that's what you can do. You can go and buy me a coffee. Now usually I have that set up, but I obviously didn't do that this week. Before I sign off, because we're nearly at the end of the show, this show's around about 20 minutes long, I want to throw a challenge at you. I always throw a challenge at you every week, and this is this week's challenge. It's the same as a couple of weeks ago. I think I might have even done it last week as well. And it's definitely last week's challenge. And it's that one lens challenge. I see so many people sort of asking me what lens should I buy next, and what sort of lenses should I take with me. In fact, somebody asked me that very, very recently, and they gave the options of the lenses they wanted to take, and they had 3 lenses, and I said, well, maybe you could take this one for this and this one for this. Just take those 2 lenses. But often I think it's a really good idea just to stick with one lens. Next time you head out, just take one lens with you and see how that constrains you, but also how it might even push you to be a little bit more creative with your photography. They're specifically good if you've got a prime lens rather than a very variable focal lens, like a zoom lens or a telephoto lens, because prime lenses really make you move because you can't zoom in and zoom out. I would definitely recommend that. Anywho, as they say, we are now actually beyond 20 minutes. Wow. Yes, because I started it a bit earlier, as I always do. That's today's challenge. I am getting towards the end of the show, and these shows, even though it's 20 minutes, it doesn't seem like 20 minutes. Maybe I should make them longer. There are some polls. I've created some polls. Go and check out those polls. There's 3 questions I'd like you to answer. But on to the last part of the show, which is going to be talking about next week. Next week's show is going to be on the 7th of July. July? That's good English, William. July. And we're going to talk about the ethics of street photography. It's quite a muddy topic. So I'm not going to be offering solutions. I just want to be talking about it and just having a discussion about it, and I'd like you to be very much involved in it. Comment right now about what you think about street photography. Comment right now about where you are watching this show right now. I want to know where you're sat. Not literally, obviously. Don't tell me your exact address, but where are you right now? What are you up to? What are you doing right now? And with that, I can see 2 people watching right now. And who are you? What are you doing? I'm demanding now. Right at the end of the show, I want to see like the stream, share the stream, do everything you can do. I really want to get to 10,000 viewers. I really want to get to £100. There's 2 goals: 10,000 followers, and I want to make £100. I want to get to the £100 goal on Buy Me a Coffee to buy myself a new high definition camera. That is the end of the show. I'll get myself back on the screen for the last few moments. This is show done. I'm going to go and have dinner. Whatever you're going to do, enjoy the rest of your week. Remember, the next week's show is going to be talking about the ethics of street photography. 7th of July. This show is every week, 7 p.m. on Facebook, Shot at an Angle channel. If you follow me right now, you'll get an automatic notification that I'm live. Go check that out. Follow me, and we shall see you. There's only one of you, William. I shall see you next week. Have a great week, whatever you're up to, and a great weekend when it finally comes around.